Good afternoon, a good Friday afternoon, one and all. Welcome to this Friday afternoon episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Friday, the 9th day of May, 2025. Welcome, one and all. Here we are, another Friday afternoon. I got to tell people like Barled and Percy that these two geriatric, three consecutive Fridays we are here with you. So welcome. Share the live. Let people know that we're on. As we said, Friday afternoon is not a regular scheduled time for us to be here, but we decided that we have so much to tell you. We have so much to discuss. Now we can't wait until Monday. We have to come today, Friday, and tell you. So if you are there taking your Friday afternoon tips, whatever you're doing, you can do it whether you're in the bar, wherever you are. You can have access to this program and be able to follow, be able to be educated. As I've said, we have lots and lots of stuff to tell you this afternoon. Like you, as usual, I don't think we have ever disappointed you. So we don't intend to disappoint you this afternoon. Lots of information to give you. Lots of information. Another great day this afternoon. Friday, the 9th day of May 2025. Another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks to being in the land of the living. It is a privilege to be in the land of the living. Notwithstanding, I see some people complain about rain, where they are. Rain or shine, we are going to be here to bring you the credible, valuable information. You got a lot of gaslighting going on. People telling a lot of lies. But you come on speaking out, and we are going to make sure we give you the truth, the factual information. And we always encourage you, when we see anything, go and research it for yourself. Don't necessarily believe exactly or everything that we are saying. Go and check it out for yourselves. That is how open we are. That is what you call transparency. Not what these people tell you about transparency. Yeah, so here we are. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is already in the studio. You don't miss it. When you get the technical difficulties, those difficulties are overcome, and we are going to bring it to you. So again, I say share the live. The schoolyard wasn't as packed as it usually is during Mondays and Wednesdays. Not surprising. A lot of people have not subscribed to the channel, and therefore they don't get the notification when we schedule and when we go live. So that is why this afternoon, more than ever, you have to make sure you call a friend, tell a friend that we're on, share the live with them so that they can get it live. Some people said getting it live is better than any going after and watching it on YouTube. That is what they have said. And I believe that. You get the thing live and direct. So share, and we're going to go through the format in a short while, and we're going to start. Lots of information to give you this Friday afternoon. So if you're in a bar, take in a Buckman, and don't tell me I mean racial, right? Because that is a description of the size of a drink, right? You get quarter, you get Buckman, you get half, you get flatty. Many of you know them things, but when you talk about a Buckman, I show a man like Percy and tell you what is a Buckman in reference to drinking liquor. So here we are. This good Friday afternoon. I said good Friday afternoon, not Good Friday. A good Friday afternoon to bring you the credible, valuable information. And in terms of the roll call, we scheduled the program as 1. We did tell you that the school gates would be open at 1, and immediately it was open. We have people jumping in, man. Now, y'all don't export to this thing. Jakey was the first man. He came with some others, but he was the first man listed there. Then Sean, Peter, David, Aubrey all the way from Canada, Ulrich from West Dem, Gibbo is here with us, 1 o'clock, Joan from New Amsterdam, then we had John. All these people came in at 1 o'clock, Felicia. And then shortly after, we had Jaco, Vasi, Kevin, Paulette, Morton, then is Earl, then is Sandra, Brian, Marlon, Maxwell, 11704, Maxwell Beaton. Then it was Courtney, Patrick, 12128, Patrick Rodney from the UK, Puran from the Essequibo Coast, Esla, 8948. Benjamin Bristol is here with us. So Mike Coney, Rosalind, Queenie, Marcus. Then it was Henrik, Emerson, Marva. Maury is here with us. Then the Angel is also here, followed by Pastor Smith, 9339 is in the house. Magnell, Lucius is here with us. Westmus, Anthony, 11032 from Peters Hall on the east bank of Demerara. Ezzy, Evanlina, Sion, Leon, y'all write me is Sion, then Leon, then Albert, Doreen, my squad mate, W349 all the way from Canada. Bonita, Barbara is here with us. George, and George says the first time you logging in for the first time. Welcome, my brother, welcome. We welcome all students. Whether you're going to come in the classroom or whether you're going to go and see after, we welcome you all. We don't discriminate. The Mortal is here. Siobhan, Umi is here. Hope, Barbara, Mark, Cecile is here. Clive, 12729 from the UK. Then it was Magnell, Lyndon, Patricia. And then it was Claire. True Guyanese is here. Then it is Lynette from the UK, followed by Carlton, Marcus, Diane, Carlisle, Vibert, the man from the East Bank of Demerara is here. And he always reminds us of the motto, one people, one nation, one destiny. That is the motto. Dorothy is here. Abera, Derek. And then it was Wayne from the UK. Dexter, Mary, TK, 9135 from California. Then we have Derek, Annette, Karen, Patricia, Claude, Russ, Ricardo, John, Claude, Isabella, Sidmon, Dion, Stefan, Lester, George, 8727 George is here. Then we have Warren. I can't recall seeing this student before. He might have been here. Then the man from Mbai Madai, the Bushman is here. Michael. Then this is Junior, Stian, Pito, 8152 is here. Martin, Smitty, 7464 is here with us. Malcolm, Rhonda, then I'm still in the house. Then we have Rudolph Kerry from the Maryland. Cloyd, Steven, Sagi, 9602 is here. Danny, 9731 is here. Dennis is here. Dennis, I remember you very well. We gotta connect again. We gotta connect again. Carl is here. L. Ben, Terrence 9795 from Canada. And then we have BV Man Ezekiah. BV Man Ezekiah is here. And then he's asking some questions here about the cricket. We can talk about that some other time, my brother. Lorraine, Raquel, Joy, Tessa, Wayne, Christy is here. Then it was my lawyer. My lawyer is here. Here, listen, read what my lawyer say. Good afternoon, Mr. Slow and Mr. Conway. Both 100% local content, FBI trained, retired, and vast investigative experience. Yeah, we have lots of, and we bring it to bear here on this program. Then we have Winston, and Winston say he can't miss class. Ronald, Paul, Simone, Joyce, Janella, Alista, Bray, R. Crawford is here. Brenda. Then it was Uverni. Father Masha is here with us. Orville, David, Ovid 0937, Mali, Dion, Lance, Derek Trotty is here with us. Floyd, Pamela from West Dem. Then it was Roll, 11752. Lorraine is here. Then it was Rayburn. The two samples are here, 10079. Then it was Valietta, Evelyn, Conali, Allison, Diona Ryan is here with us. Antoine, Claude. Then it was Maxwell. Then followed by Patricia, Mark, that Mark H, and then Mark W. Mark Wilson is here too. Then we have Ballard. Ballard, you make it, man. Ballard was the last man in the schoolyard before the doors were open. And once the doors were open, we had Rosie is here. Simone came back. Yesan from Trinidad. Keon is here. Joyce Prince is here. Carlton Popo, Trifosa, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Friday afternoon, but you are in class. And I appreciate that. We appreciate that. And we're not going to disappoint you. We are not going to disappoint you. So continue to share. The numbers are mounting. But the usual thing, well, almost 900 in the school, 45 thumbs up. 45. Y'all failing that respect quite a lot. Let me start off by reminding you all, this is an election year. Be careful with all the propaganda. Be careful with all the gaslighting. Be careful with all the promises. Comfort to a fool. So y'all be careful. Y'all be extremely, extremely careful. And then, the sad announcements. We regret to announce the death of, I have two of them, new ones to death. Somebody told me of a former member, Rudolph Chapman. They didn't remember his number, but I was told that he used to be at Breakdown Traffic and also at Evelary. Rudolph Chapman passed away. I think his funeral is today based on the information we got. And then we learned last night of the passing of retired woman senior superintendent Waveney Allen. Waveney, I was there at that quarters staff officer. And then I think that when she came back, she was seconded to the National Guard Service with Larry Lewis. Waveney, our number, police regulation number was W112, W112. We understand that Waveney passed yesterday. I want to, before I go on, let me tell you too, we announced the funeral arrangement for Milton Paidana, former police, GDF, Barbies, West Indies cricketer, right? Bypassed, and he played for some clubs in the US too. He passed away not so long ago. There was a service last Monday in Mondigan in Brooklyn. I understand from the information there'll be another funeral service in Guyana on the 12th. There's Monday coming, 12th, Central Assemblies of God Church and East Street, Georgetown. They said viewing from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and the service will follow thereafter. So we'll have another service in Georgetown at the Central Assemblies of God, right by the Border Market there in Church Street, Church and East Street. And that viewing will be from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and the service will follow. I want to remind you all that today is what? Today I think is the 418th day, or I think I didn't update it, 420th day since Sergeant Vaughn was killed. 420, and we ain't hearing anything. 420 days. I want to express condolences to all the relatives, friends of those deceased persons, and wish that the good Lord give you the strength to overcome this difficult time. Now, there is the sad announcements. Let me go on to the ones that are perhaps a little bit more pleasurable. And birthday greetings. We have birthday greetings today to a few people, right? I know they might have been surprised that I didn't mention it before. One of the students, Rosie Rose Jeff, is observing her natal day today. She reminded us since a few days ago, and Rosie, I made a note, so I couldn't miss it. Also today, Art Abrams, another student, who indicated this morning when he came on that his birthday is today. And also Father Masha came on and told us, that another student, that his birthday is today. I don't miss these things, because I just go through meticulously. And one of the reasons why I go through, let me tell you, because when these amphibians come and make racial and derogatory remarks, I, as the administrator, just knock them out, remove the remark and so on. They're going to set me up for ERC, ask me questions. I'm not censoring you. You can say what you want to say within certain bounds. We're going to come and be offensive, racially offensive now. Once I see it, I'm going to knock you off. Knock off the chat. Some of you get blocked altogether. Not you, the students here. Some of them get blocked altogether. I have a responsibility to do that. And how could we have forgotten a birthday recently? No other than the Secretary, Denise Booker. The Secretary had a birthday recently. I want to say congratulations, happy birthday anniversary, however you style it, to all those who are celebrating or observing today, all those who observed recently, and those who are going to be observing in the very near future. All the best to you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in Mr. Conway before I make the other announcements. I'm going to just bring in and then we're gonna go from there. I know he's raring to come. CC, how are you, my brother?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. And we must give thanks and praises. Board days are in order. Congratulations to all those persons. And Paul, I hear like I get trolled from BV because you ain't talking nothing about BV. I think BV gets some kind of some anniversary. Like they chase out the BV, man.
No, I posted it yesterday. Yesterday I remembered and I posted it on social media that yes, BV, but the Baron, Bedford Watkins on the east coast of Demerara, was purchased in 1840 on the 8th of May 1840. So yesterday was the anniversary. That would have been 185 or something. I mean, maths ain't too good. But I posted it early yesterday, CC, and I see some people pick up and they ran with it and so on. Well, I did post it and congratulated all of my fellow villagers, Baron, Bedford Watkins, right? So 1840, 8th of May. You know, there was actually a movement, 8th of May movement. That is dormant now. The 8th of May actually contested successfully local government elections in Baron, as we call it. Yeah, we don't miss that. I don't miss it. But, you know, they're not the usual activities that they used to have long ago. I remember when I was in Borbis, I came down to an activity, 8th of May activity at BV, and Prem Prasad, who was also the former judge, late judge, he reminisced on some of the stuff in the village and so on. And then we had Henry Rodney, the comedian, who is also a BV man, had me in stitches that night. Yeah, so I guess we have to revive that, so that the young people will know the rich history of that village. A few weeks or so ago, I was on the Politics 101 with Dr. David Hines. And he had to tell us that he does not believe there's another village in the country of Guyana that produce so many ministers of government. And he called them off. Some of them I didn't even remember. Henry Jeffrey, Vibot Mingo, Coco Wilson. And the man called off about six persons. I think Cecilin Beard, all of those persons he called off. Yeah, so we have a rich history. So we have to let the young people know of that, because many of them are there and perhaps to some extent they're leaderless, and we have a responsibility. We, the older ones, have a responsibility to tell them of the rich history that the government has. So they don't worry, these people come now and try to give a little cleaning trench work and all those type of things, and let you don't believe that you have a rich legacy. My father, Paul Obadiah Slow, was one of the renowned village councillors, village chairman on several occasions. As a little boy, sometimes I used to shame for work with you. You know why? Because these pipes outside standpipe. If you left it running, you can send me go to another pipe. When the boys were swimming at the corner of the trench, you used to pick up the clothes and carry it away. The players got to come. You know why? Because when they were swimming, those trenches never had revetment, what we used to call palaf. So by constant swimming at a particular spot, you used to get erosion. The old parapet used to erode. Some old man, yeah, as a village chairman, the older persons know the street, Paul Slow Street, is named after my father. A lot of them believe it's me. I tell them it's not me. The last street to have been fixed in BV, last street, they fixed all them other street. And there's a street that has a lot of traffic. But because it's named Paul Slow Street, they believe that the street was named after me. No, it was named after my late father. So there's some background, CC. Let me go move on and tell you that, you know, we have a new Pope, Pope Leo the 14th. Pope Leo the 14th, right? So the Catholics have a new Pope now. And I think before yesterday, the first American Pope, he's from America. And it says the first American to become Pope. The other one, before this announcement, one of them dressed up like the Pope, some AI generated thing. And the orange one out there, you know, this place is then easy. It's then easy, right? So we have that. So we have a new Pope. And let me remind you all that on Sunday the 11th of May, is Mother's Day. Mother's Day. That day, you know, the comedian said Mother's Day is a big thing. Chris Rock, one of my favorite comedians, he said Mother's Day is a big thing all over America and other parts of the world. And they don't remember Father's Day. He said all that fathers get, mothers get all sort of things, all sort of gift, all sort of things. All the fathers get is a big piece of chicken. That is what Chris Rock said in one of the county. He said all that's got is a big piece of chicken, Father's Day. So yeah, Mother's Day is on Sunday. And as I indicated on Wednesday, I just take over the kitchen, man. I will take over the kitchen and cook for my wife, cook for my mother-in-law, and yeah, I can take over and I will cook for them. That is a day they should relax, and I will take over the galley. I'm the chef on that day. And for cricket fans, I'm sure you would have been aware that IPL, Indian Premier League, was suspended, except for 1 week, but I don't know how they arrived at the 1 week, because yesterday you were looking at this match and then blackout. So I thought they were playing at Providence. Because Providence is the only place I know they get blackout in the middle of a big cricket match. But they didn't say what caused the blackout. But then last night and this morning, we understand that the IPL has been suspended because there's tension between Pakistan and India. Big tension. And they had some drone attack, several drones. Pakistan shooting down drones sent by India. And India shooting down drone sent by Pakistan. And one of the matches was played in Dharamshala. That is right up, I understand, by the Pakistani border. So there was a lot of concern. And I think India said they were pursuing terrorists, or the drone attack was against terrorists. Terrorists! No, terrorists who killing and maiming people and so on. Not people who burn in tires and maybe behaving disorderly on the road. Them is not terrorists. Rail. India said they were pursuing terrorists. That is what I read, right? So they have a serious situation with Pakistan and India. And the entire world should pay attention, because those are two nuclear powers. Both of them get nuclear weapons, and things can escalate very easily. So we got to be extremely, extremely worried when two countries, they have fought wars before, but when two countries are at loggerheads like that, drone attack, dozens and dozens of drones, the Dharamshala. So that is suspending the suspension of the IPL. Let's hope that things resolve itself very easily. I understand from the reporting on ESPN and other places that since yesterday, the Australian other cricketers book flight and bail out. They book flight and they bail out because the situation is so tense and you don't know what next. So that is what it is. Then we bring in CC, and then we're going to move on. CC, I talk about the Pope, I talk about Mother's Day, and I talk about the suspension of IPL. I'm sure you're going to want to have your say.
Yeah, and happy Mother's Day in advance to all those mothers, to all those mothers there. And I might try with my hand like you, do some cooking on Sunday. And also, I am not surprised that the in IPL suspended, because it's a kind of tense situation between America and Russia too, because I understand they're using some Chinese-made drones, which the Americans are concerned with. So there's a lot of tension between those countries, and India and Pakistan, and internationally. But let's hope that that it normalizes. I'm not certain whether the IPL is going to continue, but let's hope, for God's sake, that there'll be normalcy there.
Well, let me. I don't normally correct you, but let me correct you, because I say you're gonna try your hand like me. Me don't try me hand, I'm a qualified chef. So you understand, you try me hand. I know what I'm about. So I know what I'm about. Normally, I just control Thanksgiving Day, Christmas time, and so on. I control it. So I got dig you there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so let me move on, folks. You had a nice half an hour or so introduction with the lighter stuff. Let me go to the real stuff now. Let me go to the real stuff. And where should I start? We have so many things to tell you. Well, let me start. I'm gonna start with the statement where it is said that the Vice President Bharat Jagdeo, news source reported yesterday that Jagdeo hopes investigation with foreign assistance will unearth the truth in the Adriana Young's death. That's the headline, news source, Gardner Mosley. Let me read what it says because I want us to start a discussion with this. It says, with the government securing the services of Canadian homicide expert Leonard McCushion to assist with the investigation into the death of 11-year-old Adriana Young, Vice President Jagdeo today said, that was yesterday, is hopeful that in the end, the investigation will provide closure to the family of little Adriana. Adriana's lifeless body was discovered in the pool. Well, we know that. We ain't going to go through that. The post-mortem examination by 3 international pathologists, including one selected by the family, found that she died by drowning. However, several questions remain about the child's death and the police force handling of the investigation. At a press conference this afternoon, as yesterday, Vice President expressed the hope that the Canadian homicide expert would help the Guyana police force in unraveling the truth behind the death of the 11-year-old girl. Quote, we hope that we will find the truth, whether it is true negligence, that this child died, or foul play. That's all we are looking for. That's what we want, so that we can bring this matter to closure and do justice to the child and our parents, end of quote. Jagdeo told a news conference at Freedom House. The Canadian homicide expert is a retired member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. He is trained in homicide and suspicious death investigator. He's a trained homicide and suspicious death investigator with more than 30 years of experience as an investigator of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Vice President Jagdeo said it was out of deep concern and a determination to uncover the truth behind the death of the 11-year-old girl that the government took a decision to bring in these 3 international experts to conduct an extensive autopsy on our remains. However, the Vice President expressed disappointment that the preliminary results of that autopsy was rejected. The President then, quote, the President promised a thorough investigation and we brought in the pathologists, their own pathologists, prominent persons. They all concluded the same thing, witnessed by the lawyer and the doctor, and because the family lawyer and the family doctor came out and spoke professionally about what took place, they turned on them. That is what Jagdeo said. The Vice President accused the opposition of polarizing the issue as the country prepares for a general election, while others have opted to vilify and dishonor the name of the young child. Mr. Jagdeo singled out the nursing assistant from the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation who was captured in a recording giving the impression that she observed the postmortem examination when she did not. Jagdeo said the claim made by nursing assistant was simply outrageous, but Guyanese were quick to believe. Quote, look at the outrageous lies being told by this nurse aide. How could you invent something like that and then release it in the public domain? How could you even dishonor this child by doing something like that? And then there are influencers who are spreading it like wildfire. You have to be warped to believe something like that the minister would ask a nurse aide, not even a nurse, to go witness an autopsy and give her technical opinion on it, he said. Jagdeo has warned against speculation, noting that the police must be allowed to conduct their investigation into the death of this child. Then the last thing is Adriana's death has sparked global outrage with increased demands for justice. Now, let me dissect this thing, what the Vice President said yesterday. You know, yesterday was Thursday afternoon, and then Thursday afternoon has been the usual Tantimol show. You know, I tell you, Almighty Duke, big bacchanal just the other day. Well, gotta say, big bacchanal yesterday with the Nid and She Makume. Big comments yesterday with the Nid and She Makume. I didn't want to hear, so I passing straight. A fella pull me and tell me, wait, same time he didn't husband come off the bus. And it's then the Makume start to cuss. Let me go through this thing here. Let me go through. right? Let me go down at the back because I get enough to talk about. Talk about the North Aid. And hear what this vice president is saying about the North Aid. Let me read. As I said, I wasn't there, so I'm quoting from news source. What news source reported? So Mr. Jagdio singled out the nursing assistant from the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, who was captured in a recording, giving the impression that she observed the postmortem examination when she did not. Jagdio said the claim made by the nursing assistant was simply outrageous, right? But Guyanese were quick to believe. Then he quoted her saying, "Look at the outrageous lies being told by this nurse aide. How could you invent something like that and then release it? And then release it in the public domain? How could you even dishonor the child by doing something like that? And then there are influencers who are spreading it like wildfire." Now let me understand. All right, Toro, I can stick to my day job, man. I can stick. Let's imagine Jagdio telling people about telling outrageous lies, you know. Irony of all ironies. The vice president is lambasting this nurse for telling outrageous lies. Now, let me say this. From all evidence, from all indication, the girl lied. She was never there. All indications. The girl was never there. She lied. I told you students, I think it was since Monday. Definitely, no, we had no program on Monday. So it'll be Wednesday. I told you thing on all the shows that have appeared on, including the show Bobby Vera's radio station 104, I think it is, multicultural radio, this morning at 7:15. I told him that young lady, the nursing assistant, based on what is revealed, has not committed any offense. They issued a wanted bulletin for her. The police issued a wanted bulletin, right? 2 days ago, I think it was, with her name. And the offense, creating public mischief, attempting to pervert and obstruct the course of justice, wanted bulletin. And I made the point before, and I said on Wednesday, how could you issue a wanted bulletin like that? The abuse of wanted bulletins. Do you not know where she lives? She works in the ministry. They know she's a nurse aide. Could you not have sent someone? I sure they get number now, so I think of culture and tell you, go to the station. But nah, they issue wanted bulletin for claiming that she creating public mischief. And I said then, I'm on record as saying, based on what was revealed, she could not have been found to have committed any public mischief. And why? She had a private conversation over the telephone with someone, a private conversation. It would appear that the person recorded the conversation unknown to her, right? The person recorded, because I listened to the conversation. At one stage, she even said, "I hope you aren't taping me." Clear indication that she had no intention of this thing being recorded and made public. But Jagdio and them jump out, police jump out, issue wanted bulletin. And here was the update to the matter. Here was the update. I'm going to go back to some the comments made by Jagdio, right? And I told you all before I go to that, and you know, the young police, I don't know how well they train these young police, and even the senior ones. I learned. I have Selwyn, the lawyer here, and other lawyers I know will join from time to time. If they don't see the live, they're going to come on. I learned that in order for you to get a person, convict a person of crime, there are two elements that you have to prove, right? And I used to use the Latin, right? The actus rea. That is a guilty act. So there's no doubt there was an act because she tell a lie, right? So you want to say, all right, there's the act. She did something. Then you have to prove the mens rea, the state of mind. And I made the point that there was no mens rea to say that she committed public mischief. You know, mens rea, the state. So you say you talk a murder, it has to be malice at the forethought. Then, you know, they have each offense, they have the mental part that you have to prove. You have to inform, you have to prove, right? In the absence of the mens rea, you can't get no case. And I'm saying that given the facts that we know in this case, there was never any mens rea. There was never, ever intention for this recording to go public. Why she made it, I don't know. Perhaps she's trying to impress the person who she was speaking with. We don't know, right? She tell a lie, it would appear. But lies are told in Guyana daily, especially on a Thursday. Lies after lies after lies. So how them and creating public mischief? How them and but they you know, let it come, man. We and liars. No self the sell people without legal training and all. We are liars. But we are good policing training. Good policing training. Both CCNI, FBI Academy, I Police Staff College. I read something this afternoon. Let me read what came out this afternoon. That Randolph Kingston charged for allegedly circulating false audio related to autopsy of 11-year-old Adriana Young. It would appear now that the man who made the recording and released it was charged today, the chargee. They ain't said whether the charges, young lady, but the chargee, right? Because I've said, even if she made the statement, it was clear she had no intention of having it released to the public. And therefore, whoever released it to the public, they're the one who created mischief. They are the one who was creating mischief. For everything, say, Randolph Kingston was formally charged today in connection with the alleged circulation of a voice recording containing false and misleading claims regarding the autopsy of 11-year-old Adriana Young. The accused appeared before the magistrate and was granted bail in the sum of $30,000. The voice recording in question reportedly features the voice of nursing assistant Louis King, who allegedly made inaccurate and mischievous statements about the circumstances and findings of the child's postmortem examination. Authorities contend that Kingston was responsible for disseminating the recording on social media and messaging platform, contributing to public confusion and distress. The case has drawn national attention due to the sensitivity surrounding the death of the young Adriana Young, whose passing has been the subject of widespread concern and scrutiny. The voice note, which quickly went viral, purported to contain insider knowledge regarding the autopsy, but was later discredited by medical professionals and investigators involved in the official process. According to police, the dissemination of such content not only compromises the integrity of ongoing investigations, but also causes unnecessary emotional harm to the grieving family. Kingston is expected to return to court later this month as investigations continue. Meanwhile, the law enforcement officials let me read that back, please. Meanwhile, the law enforcement officials have issued a stern warning against the sharing of unverified or false information related to sensitive legal and medical matters, noting that anyone found culpable may face legal consequences. Authorities have not issued any official statement or whether charges was or will be brought against Louis King. The Ministry of Health and other relevant agencies have urged the public to respect the privacy of the Young family during the difficult time and to rely on official channels to verify updates regarding the case. What official channel? The police silent, they not say nothing. Commissioner of Police ain't saying a word. So as we indicated, they charge the man who disseminated the information, right? For causing public mischief. But let me put this young lady on warning. First of all, if she implied, as I said, at the hospital, you could really say very serious, bye-bye. Bye-bye. They're going to find something to keep you going. And the fact that you had this dog whistle yesterday, then backing out, sir. The fact that the vice president yesterday blamed this young lady for disseminating and creating public mischief, then done. There's a dog whistle. They're going to find something to get you. That is what the crystal ball is saying. One, crystal ball is saying they're going to get you the shit. They're going to find something, she's going to get dismissed, right? For whatever job she get. And secondly, they are going to try something. When I say find something, some charge they're going to find. They ain't going down like that, having regards to all the statement made by the vice president and others. They ain't going down like that. They're going to find something to give. What's your name, Miss Louis King or whoever the name is? They're going to find something to give or watch it. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. I have more to say on this matter and the statement issued by the vice president, but let me bring in Mr. Conway at this stage. CC, I said a lot about this young lady and what the vice president said. Let me have your take on it.
Okay. First thing I said before that she did not commit any criminal offense, none whatsoever. And I also said that what about the guy who leaked that information? Perhaps they could focus on him. What she said may be classified as a civil wrong, but not a criminal offense. And I may recall, when they had a man in my bedroom, when some chap I think named Fagan, with his belly belly full of Guinness, scale a 18 feet wall, go up a drain pipe into Buckingham Palace. Of all the rooms, he find himself in the Queen room. I think before then he drank out some of the Prince wine and in the bedroom. And they wanted to charge him for trespass. And then they said the English law, trespass is not a criminal offense. That trespass is a civil wrong. So all the charge him for drinking out the Prince wine. So coming back to her, is that maybe I say a civil wrong, but not a criminal offense. And then they plaster the whole damn place with wanting bullet, that she's wanted. It's no criminal offense. Or there's no reasonable suspicion for her to be classified as a wanted person. There's nothing in terms of arrest, section 16 of one of the police act talking about when giving police power for arrest. Nothing there in cover them for that they could have arrested her. But I think they arrested her. But what are they gonna charge you for? What are they gonna charge her with, She ain't commit no offense. What you say, Paul, the dog whistle, and I go find something for sure. I won't be surprised if tomorrow morning or something during the week here they dismiss you from the public hospital there. But I understand she get good connections there too. So sometimes that part might not happen. They might find some other thing. The thing is that the dog whistle, they're looking at dog whistle, and then they holding people wrongfully. I'm surprised that they didn't classify us as a terrorist, as you commit a terrorist act. Boy saying, and if you want people charge people for lying, which party in the law tell about lying? The president lying, the second vice president lying, the the prime minister worse lying, blatant lies. The thing. Perhaps she just following the leader. They following them. So the whole thing is if they're gonna charge her, well, they can't charge her or the middle, but she has not committed any criminal offense with the utterance that you use. And she's saying, I hope you're not recording me. A private conversation between two persons and somebody leak it, and then you're saying that she committed a criminal offense. No way, no way in the law. Let her bring forward the law which say that she committed a criminal offense.
But you got to remember, with these people, many times it's not about what the law says, right? They're going to get the people at Rabbit Walk there. They're going to find something. As I said, they're going to find something to give her, to try to justify the dog whistle that we heard yesterday. That is how the system goes, right? That is how the system goes. They're going to find something to give her. I would be surprised. I don't want her to be charged because, as you said, she has not, as far as we know, if it's only that recording, she had committed no crime. She'd lie. You might want to find out why is the reason she would tell a lie like that, right? But people lie all the time. Mandal, the assistant commissioner in charge of Region 3, lied to the people when they say that, look, they get video footage of this girl going in some car. They lie when they said they saw the girl, this Adriana Young, at some bus shed with some man going somewhere. All that was lie. And what happened? Mandal is on administrative leave. The party so that he can enjoy little his siesta and so on. Lie. You have lies all the time. And they're treating it as causing public mischief. And I dare say that the lies that are told by some of the politicians have a far greater reach and far more dangerous effect than the lies told by this young lady, if we were to say that she told a lie. I don't know what motivated her to do that, to make that statement, whether she want to impress the man or whatever, right? But it would appear from all that we have seen, that she wasn't there. She wasn't there. So the account that she gave was false. What is the motive? I don't know. But I'm saying that that does not amount to a criminal offense. And especially when they're talking about creating public mischief. How do you create public mischief with a private conversation not intended by you to be, by the maker, to be disseminated? And there's clear evidence that she said, hey, I hope you're recording me. It shows intent. She never intended for this to go public. So they come and they talk all sort of things. I know we say she ain't coming. So maybe they listen. Maybe they listen. Even though Nandalal said that people who they get legal experience and legal knowledge and they take, we know what we're talking about. We know what we are talking about. So apparently, they decide to look at it more carefully, notwithstanding what the vice president said yesterday, and decide if anybody is to be charged, is this man alone, they're going to get charged, at least for now. So they say, what's the ride? What's the ride? Well, he said some other things in this statement, you know. The other press conference, the vice president expressed hope that the Canadian homicide expert would help the Guyana police force in unraveling the truth behind the 11-year-old death. Then he says here, he's quoted there saying, we hope that we'll find the truth, whether it's true negligence that this child died or foul play. That's all we're looking for. That's what we want, so that we can bring this matter to closure and do justice to the child and her parents. Well, let me justice because, again, a dog whistle, you know, dog whistle. Therefore, analyze this. All of a sudden, they're injecting this negligence aspect in this whole thing. In other words, if you're talking about negligence, you might want to say this minor was there with her adult grandmother and the grandmother might not have taken sufficient care. That is what they're implying. Because the product of the traumatized sperm, did talk about negligence. You know, where he said the time the child went, the time of death or something like that is the time between when the child got there and the parents involved in drinking some root by, and they realized that they had people with them. So the traumatized sperm showed out. So the vice president picked it up as a dog whistle. But if you're going to talk about negligence, what happened to the people at the hotel? You have a pool. And forget about all the sign where they put up, but you're swimming at your own risk and so on. It is your facility. It is not open. Well, even when the public have access, they have to pay to go into the pool. So you have a responsibility to make sure that they're taken care of. You have to have a lifeguard and all that sort of thing. So if we're going to talk about negligence, I hope they're going to be looking at all of that, right? I hope they're going to look at, if you're going to talk about negligence, how come you have a big international hotel and the CCTV cameras are not working? Tell us that. Tell us that. How come? So, you know, they inject these things there, you know, they inject these things. We're going to talk about the investigator they bring in just now. We're going to talk about the investigators. But as he injected this, what he say, we hope that we'll find the truth, whether it's true negligence that this child died or foul play. That's all we are looking for. That's what we want, so that we can bring this matter to closure. And this word closure is being used frequently. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Lion Mark Phillips had an interview on something, I think it was yesterday morning. He used that term, right? Bringing it to closure. Frequently. All the government want, let me tell you, it is my belief, this closure what they're talking about is not to unravel what exactly took place. It's to bury this child. And once the child buried, they know that us Guyanese have short attention span. And I'm not being insultive here. I'm being realistic. Some incident going to come up and they're going to forget about this. That's what I hope. But I know it ain't going to go like that. Remember not so long ago, a couple of weeks ago, it was Linden. 1 month ago, it was Linden. Big uproar. 2 men shot and killed. And what happened? Then you get Adriana Young. People hardly remember now the Linden incident. That is what they're hoping for. Something will come. They're going to do all sort of gaslighting and so on, and people's attention will move away from this. But I hope that I think they don't know the type of emotions this death of this girl have evoked. I think they understand that. Talk about scrapehead and talk about terrorists and all. I think they understand. This thing has gained international attention. International attention because of the manner. And not only the death, but the blatant cover up by the police. Clearly. And then Mark, I can talk about Mark Phillips just so you forget time. I made sure I quote some of the words that he said. And we're going to deal with it. We're going to deal with him. Right? But this thing has evoked a lot of emotion all over the place, vigils all over. But all they want, bury the child, and then we're going to move on. Then they're going to tell you what they're going to tell them. So, oh, the police investigated. Investigating what? What are they investigating? The commissioner can't say. I don't know why he's still there. I suggested to him, I know him, he worked with me. I know him. I suggested to him that he might best plant cassava, especially bitter cassava. You know, they got two types. You see, y'all know these things. Country people know bitter cassava and sweet cassava. The sweet cassava is what they use to boil and cook and make your metaji and so on. They use sweet cassava, make a little cassava ball and all. But bitter cassava, bitter, you don't cook that. It is used for making starch. You could make cassava bread once you take out all the cyanide and so on from it. You get starch. You take the water, you boil them and make cashew. You get a lot of usage. So I suggest to him that he get big land, I understand. It is alleged that he has big land on the highway. The same place where they want to make get sandpit, another place. Plant bitter cassava, left the police force. Take your knee off the police force. Plant bitter cassava. Sell cashew. Sell starch. Sell cassava bread. Sell quinches. Y'all always quinches. You know, you got a lot of people here, they're country people. So some of these storms or some of these words might go over the head, you know. Quinches, or what they call sweet cassava bread, man. You got the thing outside, the little rung, you put a little coconut and coloring and so on inside, call them quinches. Lovely. Go do that. Leave the police force. You pass the retirement age. And we made the point over and over that there's not a single commissioner who outstayed his time that come off with any type of glory. None. Run. Right? None. No worry. No red cake. Red cake is Salara, man. But you see, I tell you what these tongue men. These tongue men don't know these things. So I talk it was quinches, and Maury telling me red cake. Red cake when we come from is Salara. Red cake is quinches is something different. Right? Something different. Now let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then I want but too long because we have a lot to cover. You see, this injection of this negligent thing, what is your view?
But let me get back with you. Well, right now you're telling the man that to plant cassava and then sell starch and sell cashew and all. He might end up selling it to the medicine. I mean, they have not financial irregularities. But yes, they're bringing in the negligence thing so they can want to blame the family. They're going to want to blame the grandmother. And they go and blame the auntie and everybody. I agree with you. And they go, all they want, closure. The girl bury, full stop. End of the matter. Like how you have quite a number of matter. You have our sergeant 400 and something days there. Nothing you don't hear about it. You had a man dying, left him lockups, nothing but it. A man dying, parfait lockups, nothing but it. A man dying, wrongful lockups, nothing but it. A man dying 51 lockups, nothing but it. You know, so they're pushing this thing, the negligence, and then they say the end of it, body bury, end of the story. You want to hear nothing more about it. But people we gotta stay on it and make sure that we get to the bottom of it. For me, it is a homicide, and we must know who are the perpetrators. We must know who are the perpetrators in this matter. So I see the second vice president pushing the thing about negligence there, you know, but they can't work. They can't hold water.
Right, and we getting breaking news now that the young lady was charged. I'm getting breaking news that the young lady was charged. She charged with inciting persons to do criminal act. Tell you then unless you get off so. Inciting persons to do criminal act, and she was remanded. That is the update we're getting. That this young lady, let me pull up the wanted bulletin they had. I am being advised live as we speak that Miss Tiana Serena Lewis King, who they had issued a wanted bulletin for creating public mischief and attempting to pervert and obstruct the course of justice, that they have charged her with the charge for inciting persons to do criminal act. I don't know. This is the travesty in this place. What evidence that they have that this woman wanted to incite persons to do criminal act? But as I told you, they're not interested in that. They're not interested in that. They are going to charge without any hope of getting any conviction. But then they're going to run out. Newsroom, the Daily News, NCN, all them going to run out and all this type of thing. That is what they're going to do. But I maintain that what we have, don't know if they got more, perhaps they got more stuff. But based on what we have seen or what we have heard, this woman telling a lie to someone in private over telephone, telling somebody privately all sort of fanciful stuff, right? And the person to whom this is told released this thing publicly. And according to what we hear, they're charging she for inciting persons to do a criminal act. So maybe she incite them. How you do this? How you incite them when you never even spoke to them? How do you incite them when you didn't even show them anything? How you incite these people? Well, they're going to say the matter sub judice, and therefore we shouldn't comment much on it. So we don't comment much about it. But I'm saying, I hope she gets a good lawyer. You see, and that is what, when the international community see these things, these are the type of complaints got to be made to the Human Rights Association and all of those people. All of those people. So they can understand what is going on. They can understand how freedom of speech is eroded. Even if she's telling a lie, my contention is that she never disseminated anything. So you're going to say she's trying to incite persons to do persons. She spoke to one person, singular. That is what we were advised. That is what the tape said. She spoke to one man. And the one man is the one who disseminated things. So you could say that she charged today for inciting persons to do criminal act. She inciting persons to do criminal act. Real travesty. But it's Guyana you there, not a real place. And you get people inciting people regularly on social media. People are lying to the PPP. They are inciting people and they're talking all kind of balderdash. And nothing happens to them. Nothing. So CC, we understand that the young lady is charged. That is the information I just got. And she is remanded. Your take.
The thing is, with me and the magistrates, nowadays coming up, you can't bring certain things in front of certain magistrates. And here it is, the granting of bail. She's remanded if according to the reports going. Did the magistrate consider the status of the accused? Did the magistrate or the weight of evidence? Did the magistrate will a granting of bail, will the prisoner attend court? Will a granting of bail defeat the ends of justice? Is the magistrate guided by our conscience on the Constitution? So many things that the magistrate has to be guided by than just refuse bail and refuse bail and refuse bail. So this thing got to get a deeper effect. And the thing is that magistrates has got to stand up. Police bring nonsense in front of you, right away you hit it out. No, I don't see no reason why she can't go on bail. What is the offense? Eh? The seriousness of the offense, the weight of evidence. Will a granting of bail defeat the ends of justice and be guided by the Constitution and your conscience? I always remember when they had a big inquiry into the police killings and Minister Gajraj, and they asked him that they refer to other things that unlawful things that he got Commissioner McDonald to do. And I always remember the words of Gajraj. He said, Commissioner Floyd McDonald should have been guided by the Constitution and his conscience. And the master got to be guided by their conscience, and they got to be guided by the Constitution, and they got to be guided by what the law says. That in too many instances, people are remanded to prison for flimsy evidence, or sometimes no evidence at all. No evidence at all. So there's nothing. They got to look at the conduct of magistrates, particularly in terms of granting bail. Is there something in writing in talking about how what they should be considered before they granting bail? So so she's remanded, and and then maybe until another week or 2 weeks, and then she come again. It's not fair. It is not fair, and the master got to consider certain points before you decide, he or she decide, hey, that I going to refuse bail, or unless it's political guided, hey, remand she. So in future, anybody who might do any other kind of might be fearful really of doing anything. So there's the whole story.
Well, a good question is asking by one student. How can the man who disseminated the information be put on $30,000 bail? And this woman who made the comments with no intention of his going public is remanded to prison. I hope that the lawyers move to the High Court. I hope that the lawyers will move to the High Court to try and secure bail for this woman. I believe that by this afternoon, they should have gone to the High Court. And I got us, if I remember correctly, or even over the weekend, they can approach a bail court judge and make sure this is a travesty. Based on what we have seen, what is in the public domain, all of these things are intended, right, to intimidate and to prevent people. Again, I say she might be wrong in terms of the statement she made. She lied. But since when telling a lie is a criminal act that requires you getting bail, especially since the act has not resulted, as far as we know, with any direct consequences in terms of people injured or killed or so on. They get them lying all the time. Watch what they call it, Daily News or something like that. That they claim it is alleged being run by the sheriff people every day. They're inciting people every day. They're publishing things inciting people. That is what they're doing. Look, the other matter with them, following the raid on the Mohammed place to these cars by Kanu, right? A man, the barber of the Mohammeds, his car was set on fire. They claim it is alleged the compound in which this man lived, the owner of the car, is a gated compound guarded by sheriff security. People go to set the car. You get video showing people made several attempts eventually to set the car. Sheriff or the Guyana Daily News published, is that the name? Guyana Daily News published a story to say that this thing started out as the man's wife set this car like because she catch even some sweet woman and that sort of thing. Lie. The video clearly showed the footage. And they're telling all type of lies, but nothing can happen to them. Perhaps because the man gave Aiken $8.5 million. Man, that lie across the river. And I am saying it's because of the lies of the police caused this thing to escalate. The child is missing and the child is there. Not only the fact that the police failed to take proper initial action, but then the commander, Assistant Commissioner Mandal, lied to the thing. Say, look, we got to get this girl seen going in some car and heading towards Villeneuve. Lie. It thought they themselves had to admit. But they said some mistake or some fancy thing they use. He lied. No mistake. And we're going to deal with it if we get time. We're going to deal with it if we have the time. But I'm saying that our voices have to be heard with these things. I need the one that can come for me. I am calling on people to talk out, to speak out against all this injustice. Speak out against the injustice. Right? Because here it is. She got last work, and then they charge you, they remand you to prison. For what? For what? And as one of the students said, the man who disseminated the information, let me understand this. He charged. He put on 30,000 bail. He disseminated. He is the one who could say caused public mischief. Because it is clear the intention of the young lady was never to have this thing disseminated. She tried to impress somebody. I've been there and so on. I'm a big thing. Never intended from all the evidence we have. And she charged and they remand you. Some of these people can't see God's face. Well, of course, they don't believe in God. None of them are atheists. Not even agnostic. They're atheists. They don't believe in God. Right? They don't believe in God. So when you're telling them that they can't see God's face and so on, they have no such expectation in the first place. So that's why they can do all the wicked things that they are doing. But let me fast forward, man. Because, well, we done an hour already. And we now getting warm up. Y'all share the live, class full. Give me thumbs up, share the live, class full. Now we're dealing here now, we're going in now to this story, but I gotta get the build up to the meeting that the lawyers had with the commissioner of police. You know, yesterday morning, I think it was, the lawyers representing the family of Adriana Young had a meeting with the commissioner of police, Clifton Ikin. But let me read from yesterday's news, Kaicho news yesterday. A little long, but I got to go through certain things for you all to understand where we're coming from, right? It says, Kaicho news, the headline is Mystery Surrounds Adriana Young's Autopsy Report. Mystery surrounds Adriana Young's autopsy report. It then Kaicho news May 8th. That's yesterday. Health Minister says, ask police. Top Cop tell lawyers they don't have it. So the health minister, when they talk about this autopsy report, the minister say, ask the police. And when the people ask the police say, well, we ain't get it. And here what the article says, while Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, had previously told this newspaper that the police are in possession of the preliminary findings into the autopsy report of 11-year-old Adriana Young, Commissioner of Police Clifton Ikin said that the police do not have the file. A delegation including lead attorney Dexter Todd, Dr. Dexter Todd, along with attorney UC Anderson, Dexter Smart, and Adriana's parents met with Ikin seeking answers regarding the investigation. A key revelation from the meeting, according to Dr. Todd, was that the Guyana Police Force does not have the preliminary autopsy report in its possession, despite the public being told Adriana died from drowning. This contradicts earlier comments by Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, who told Kaicho News on Monday that the initial forensic findings had already been handed over to the police. You lie? Let me continue. In a brief interview with Kaicho News, Dr. Anthony declined to provide any information surrounding the autopsy, which was performed at the Georgetown Public Hospital 1 week ago. He said the initial findings of the forensic examination have been handed over to the police. That is, then the court here said, that is for the police. I don't have one, referring to the preliminary autopsy report. Dr. Anthony stated when asked about the report, quote, this is a police matter. All these things you got to talk to the police about, end of quote. Pressed further for clarity on the findings and whether it ruled out forced drowning, as reported by President Ali, Mr. Anthony replied, quote, talk to the police. The police will have the autopsy report from the pathologist, end of quote. However, Dr. Todd, who posed the question about the possession of the autopsy report to Ikin, said that police do not have the report. Dr. Todd recounted, quote, is there a preliminary report available of the autopsy which was done? That is not yet provided. It is not available. So we have no answer. Would you oppose us having, this is a question again, would you oppose us having a review of the autopsy? We don't have the report, Ikin answered. Let me read about. Todd asked him, according to the report here, would you oppose us having a review of the autopsy? Then the court said, well, we don't have the report, Ikin answered. So, no answer. So, in a nutshell, the police force, all that they were prepared to say from the commissioner level, all they were prepared to say from the commissioner level is that they are doing a comprehensive investigation, but they are not at liberty at this stage to say what really the comprehensive investigation entail. That's what Doc said. Right? Then they go on to say, additionally, in regards to Minister Anthony stating pathologists handed over a copy of the report to the police, Dr. Todd said that since he was told that the police do not have the report, a request needs to be made to the pathologist to seek the report first before a legal team can do so. Quote, I would think the police are in contact with the team, and it is for the police to get the report from them, and then we can get it from the police. I believe we may be crossing some ethical borders if we were the ones to directly interface with them. That's it. This discrepancy raises serious questions about which report President Irfan Ali referred to when he publicly stated that Adriana had drowned. Although President Ali did not confirm whether he had personally seen the autopsy report, he stated that a police representative had shared its findings with him. There's the president saying so. The president saying so. And, quote, and I just want to briefly share with you what was shared with the police representative and shared with me, President Ali said. Quote, upon completing the procedure, the forensic pathologist ruled out signs of physical or sexual trauma on Mrs. Young's body, on Miss Young's body. After careful deliberation, the team concluded that Miss Young died as a result of drowning. The relatives were also informed that the pathologist ruled out other theories of forcible drowning or any other means of killing, followed by disposal of the body in water. So that is what was communicated. That's what the president said, you know. That is what the president is saying. As such, Dr. Todd questioned the validity of the president's public pronouncement, stressing that it was premature to declare a cause of death without access to even a preliminary autopsy report. Quote, if you are going to say drowning, and all our eyes on people who are sensible enough to recognize that something is wrong, if the preliminary report is not available, why was there a public pronouncement on the prospective cause of death of this child without having a preliminary report available at least? And you want to say, would it not have been better to say that the entire autopsy process is incomplete and therefore it will be premature at this stage to pronounce on a possible cause of death? No, they didn't do that, because I think that is what I think assisted in exacerbating the entire situation. I agree. The president came out on the night of the 28th, there's the night of the autopsy, and said that they ruled out forced drowning. That is what the president said. And then we hear confusion now. The president himself admitted he did not see the report, but he claiming that somebody told him that. Someone, the police representative, told him that that is how we operating at that level. Someone, the police representative, could not be Ikin, because Ikin said he know nothing about this thing. That is how we are operating in this country at the highest executive level. Somebody come and tell you something without any verification, and you would have asked, I want to see the copy of the report, or let somebody read it to you. This is what is being said. Get your technical people, your doctor, your minister of health and all them things to explain if they have technical terms and all of that. But the president jumped out and made this statement. And as Dr. Todd said, this assisted in exacerbating the entire issue. But you know, I was reminded by my lawyer that the president is immune from prosecution. Other than that, you might want to say that he was causing public mischief as well. But he's immune from prosecution according to the Constitution of Guyana. Right? Then it goes on. It can also fail to identify the lead investigator or provide specifics about scope of the investigation. Question was asked of him, what really are you investigating? Have you ruled out homicide? Are you investigating a homicide? No answer. Todd said. He added that when asked what tests are being done on the samples sent overseas and when results are expected, there was still no response. So they're talking to a dumb man there. You go there and you talk to a dumb man, he can't talk. Additionally, Todd said that at the meeting, no answer was provided as to whether water samples were collected from the pool to determine if Adriana had drowned in a chlorine-treated swimming pool. The police, in a subsequent statement, said that water samples were collected and have been sent overseas for testing. You see, I don't know why they can, you know. I'm going to keep asking the question. People ask you, have you taken water samples on the pool? You can't answer. Then later on, they come out with a statement. We say, well, yeah, we take samples and it's gone overseas for testing. Meanwhile, Attorney Anderson disclosed that the police commissioner provided no position when asked whether the force would oppose a second autopsy. He emphasized that due to the lack of answers, another meeting with the police is necessary. Quote, but generally, the thrust of today's meeting was that we need a follow-up meeting. I don't know how productive or how useful that would be in the light of the urgency and the sensitivity of this matter. Bana, you go to this meeting yesterday, and Ikin can answer basic questions as to who is the lead investigator, what going on. He can't answer that. What are you investigating? What are you going back for a second meeting for? You get time to waste, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Todd, Dr. Todd, Dexter Smart, those were the three liars. You got time to waste. You're going back to Ikin to air what? You're going back to Ikin to air what? Look, y'all don't waste time. You went to this meeting and this man can't provide no answer. And to compound that, shortly thereafter, they issue a statement attacking Todd. Attacking Todd. I get a statement somewhere they release. We're going to deal with it. Let me bring in Mr. Conway before we go to that. See, they had this meeting. And according to the report, nothing came out of this meeting. Nothing. The commissioner can't answer basic questions. Who is the lead investigator? Have you collected sample from the chloride-treated swimming pool? What are you investigating? Are you investigating homicide? Can't answer. And at the end, Attorney Anderson saying they got to get second meeting for one man. You explain to me there.
All right. Before I explain, I think we jumped the gun a bit, Remember we were asking that we want investigation, FBI, Canadian Mounted Police, British people. And we didn't ask for no retiree. Where is it? And so a retiree has been contracted to assist in the investigation. And I'm not certain what rank he held prior to retirement. The suggestion is that he was a sergeant. And let's look at the rank structure of the Canadian Royal Mounted Police. You have the commissioner at the top. You have a deputy commissioner. You have an assistant commissioner. You have a chief superintendent. You have a superintendent. You have an inspector. And then sergeant and others down the line. If he was that good, he was an excellent. He couldn't be the inspector. He couldn't be a superintendent. He couldn't be a chief superintendent. He couldn't be an assistant commissioner. He couldn't be a deputy commissioner. But he might not be able to make a comment. But if he was that good, he'd have way down at the bottom of the ladder from all indications. And he come in to assist. He ain't coming to take control of the investigation. And then we ask the question, how was he selected? It's shrouded in secrecy. How was he selected? I was commando like you, Paul Wesley Muraro. I still have my contacts. I still do my groundwork. I still get credible information. Now, the hotel, the real owner is elderly now. He lives in Canada. They used to call him Dede. That's why the hotel Double D. He was a strong and still is member of the PPP and supporter. And up to now, I don't know through this. It is unconfirmed. But understand, it is he who recommend this person to be there. And it is he who recommend the person to be there. I thought that if they had wanted somebody, write the embassy, write the High Commission, and ask for somebody from the FBI or the Canadian Royal Mounted Police or the British people. But no, I don't know what's the selection process, how they come to get this man, this retiree who I understand was a sergeant. How come did this happen? And then I hearing they say, is the owner, say, take this money. This is the man that we want. And you bring in a sergeant, buddy. And he coming to invest to assist. What is the terms of reference? Which terms of reference? Maybe cover up. Let me get back to the meeting. Let me get back to the meeting. And the meeting, just now, we're getting some technical difficulties. Good. The meetings, who are the meeting? The commissioner, Deputy Commissioner McBean, Deputy Commissioner Budram, Bade from the OPR, not the head of the CID, no representative from the CID, not even Watts, who is responsible for operation, who's responsible for divisional activities. Repeat the person present, Commissioner, or I can't call it Commissioner, let me take back my words. The confirmed squatter, McBean, Budram, and Bade. And they can't answer that who is leading the investigation, the scope of the investigation. Have you ruled out homicide and this kind of thing there? And then they tell the Dr. Tade, put down where you want thing in writing. How is that? That got to waste time to put down thing in writing. You're there. And if the commissioner of police can't give information that he know, this thing got national, international implications, and the commissioner not to fair, the commissioner know what's going on, the extended, the confirmed squatter know what's going on. It's high time that he go along his way. It's time he go along his way. Yeah? Imagine that simple, straightforward thing. You must know who is investigating. The president will tell you, hey, put up a team, find a team to do the investigation, and you don't get a team up to now. You don't get a team up to now. You know who is the leading team. You can answer basic questions. It's far. I can't find words to describe it. But it's time that this squatter go along his way, the confirmed squatter, and only alone. He must pull long people with him when he go into, because all of them complicit. That's all I need to say for the wild ball.
Yeah, my brother. But I have something to show. Yeah, I just somebody just sent it to me. I managed to get this slip. Look at this. This is a man, Randolph Kingston, charged today for, in this matter, with this nurse. I just made the clip. The man is handcuffed and shackled. The man is handcuffed and shackled. And what I said, he charged today connection with the alleged thing. Appeared before the court, the connection with the circulation of the alleged circulating voice recording containing false and misleading information. Right? He was charged, carried to court, placed on $30,000 bail. But look, the man is handcuffed, the man is shackled. We have seen murder accused. The man at Blackbush was shoot the man, I think it was New Year's Day or something like that, in the shop and kill him. Charged with manslaughter or something like that. No handcuff, no shackles, murder accused. This is a man charged with such a simple offense that he's put on $30,000 bail. Such a simple summary offense, put on $13,000 bail. But for him to go to court, God, this is a court, you see. So I guess he was going here or he coming down, wherever it is. More look like he was going to answer the charge. The man is shackled and handcuffed. And you want to tell me this is not an animal farm you live in? That's what you want to tell you? The man is shackled and handcuffed for an offense like that? And let me understand it clearly. In the U.S. and them places, U.S. in particular, once you're arrested, you're handcuffed behind your back. Once you're arrested, you're handcuffed. So it is not a case where that is the policy and that is the standard operational procedure. We have seen several persons going to court, no handcuff, no shackle. That they try to do me down in 2021 October. And the product of the traumatized sperm had a lot of shit to say, but comply and complain. But that is what you have. That is what you have. And CC asks a valid question. This man would have bring in. When I said, and others have said, that we need to get FBI, Canadian Mounted Police, and the Scotland Yard people to investigate, we're talking about the organization, the institution, not no individual. Because I have said, and I continue to say, that if a proper investigation is to be done in this matter, it will require a lot of forensic support. Now, what kind of forensic support this individual that I bring can get? And if you are hiring him, they say, who pays the piper call the tune? I don't know the guy. But we're saying the optics is bad. You bringing this man to investigate. Why did you not approach? Why you did not write the Canadian Commissioner, Canadian government, the British government, or the American government and request assistance so that they can identify the team or the individual to come and do the investment? No, they're doing that because they want closure. According to Mark Phillips, lying Mark Phillips, and according to Jack Dew and all them, they want closure. So the closure that they see or they want is something similar to the closure that they got with the allegation in the paper shots murder. Remember when they bring in RSS? They claim, Robeson Ben, claim that some man came, some ex-detective from somewhere came. He was never made to give an explanation to the public. They say he came and he reviewed this file. And he said that the police were capable of dealing with the matter since at some more than 2021, 4 years ago. That is what he said. That is what he said. He claimed a lot of things. He never, ever interacted with the man who made the allegation. Police sergeant made the allegation. He never questioned the man, but he concluded that it was false and all of that. Maybe something like that we get again, where a man going to come and the man going to say whatever they want him to say and the thing. Now, again, if I come back, you can't say whether it is homicide. But I recall, if I recall correctly, people in government, senior people say it's murder. I recall sometime last week or something like that, senior man said murder. They bring in a homicide investigator. So you bring in a homicide investigator to investigate assault or to investigate the disturbance on the road? One would think that if you, given what you said, this man background is an homicide investigator, so is that homicide being investigated? And perhaps those who say murder and know the difference between, murder and homicide. Same thing. Same thing. I mean, murder more specific because murder relates to malice aforethought. You talk about homicide, you talk about the killing of a human being by another human being. So it can be murder, it can be manslaughter, depending on the mental element and all the circumstances surrounding it. But the same thing, homicide investigator. And it can't say whether they're investigating an homicide. But the government bring in an homicide investigator. People, you don't understand this. You can't make these things up. You can't make it up. So the homicide investigator is coming at the request, well, not only request, at the employment, I will think, of the government, but the Commissioner of Police, Clifton Hicken, can't say as of yesterday where is an homicide being investigated. And they get to sit down there as Commissioner of Police. Plant cassava, bitter cassava. Plant bitter cassava. If you plant coconut tree, they're going to take too long. Can you plant coconut? Coconut is a very versatile crop too, you know. You get all sort of things from it. Oil, coconut water for drink. You get all sort of things. You make your metagy. You get all sort of things. You get chanchi. Again, these tongue people know that. Chanchi. All of those who know who is chanchi, student, tell me, when you get coconut, you talk about chanchi. Let me hear you, man. You grow up in tongue, you all know these things. But you get a lot of product. You make broom, you do coconut butt and all sort of thing from it. All sort of thing you get. Let me go on to this thing. Time running. You get yesterday when Tanti Merle came out. You know who was under the microscope? Dr. Dexter Todd, attorney at law, Dr. Dexter Todd. Well, let me say this at the beginning. I owe no brief for Dexter. Dexter is capable of representing and defending himself, right? He's capable of that. And I'm sure, if not now, at some stage. But let me say what I know of Dexter. And they alluded to it in a statement by the police. I might get a chance to go into it now. Dexter Todd, many of you don't know, is a President College student, right? From President College, bright boy. He was in the police force, as they indicated. He was the parcel assistant for some time to Green. I ain't gonna say nothing more about that. But he was a police indeed, as they stated in the release that they gave, right? Then what they do? Dexter, for the full disclosure, Dexter has represented me, and is one of the lawyers represented me in them trumped up cases that they brought. I have great respect for Dexter. But if you're gonna say that Dexter is mediocre, I suspect the old cabinet and all them point liar were running around you, including Joseph, right? All of them mediocre. Because Dexter Todd has won many cases against them same people that you have there. So if he mediocre, all of them mediocre. Dexter Todd, along with Dexter Smart and Selwyn Peters, were part of the team. They were members of the team that represented me and the Police Service Commission when we challenged the unlawful and unconstitutional suspension of the Police Service Commission by the president. And we won. Dexter was part of the team. We won. And he has won several other cases. Whereas you get your Attorney General, the man losing and losing, he disgust. Well, he can't be disgust. The man losing more than West Indies cricket team. The man losing, and then what he does? Then he loses, he appeal. Check your record if you want to talk about mediocre. Check your record. Check your record. Are you going to know what is mediocre? Right? And you know, before I go further, I saw something. I did some research, and the agent 009 license to Lick Bamsi described him. Let me find the thing, man. When I do these things, I don't want to mislead my students. So I have it somewhere, and I'm gonna put it up. I made a slide of it, so y'all gonna get to see how he was described. Hold on, man. Y'all hold on. This thing that's somewhere. The devil is in thing. I have it here. I saw it here. I think I get it here now. Yes, here it is. Here it is. But y'all read with me, students. Read with me. 009. License to Lick Bamsi. What he said? Here I can read with y'all. This was May 8, 2020. He says Anil Namskal and the PPPC spent all post-election cycle attacking the chairman of GCOM, Justice Tardet Singh. Spent all post-election attacking CEO of GCOM, Keith Lowenfield. Spent all post-election attacking Mingo, REO of District 4. Spent all post-election attacking the old GCOM. Now Mr. Namskal rises to defend GCOM when he and his party deliberately compromised its system, bribed officials, bought ID cards, voted for persons dead and migrated. And what do him? A mad. You know, your name calling Numbskull, your name calling since Manripo. AFC isn't attacking GCOM. We are helping GCOM and Guyana to understand the gravity of the PPP onslaught. We must bring this to light. Some people think the PPP is a saint. Well, they ain't. Y'all read. That is 009. License to Lick Bamsi. That is what he wrote. But you know, let me tell you something. You think it's sport when they get a criminal charge hanging over your head, and them are promising you thing? You think it's easy? You get criminal charge hanging over your head, and them are saying, well, here, you better fall in and cover down. Turn police, you turn soldier, fall in and cover down. So all you know, he's singing praises. Singing praises now. 009. License to Lick. License to Lick. That is what you have. Well, let me go on with the honorable. You know, when they talk about honorable in Parliament and so on, I think it's just a formality. Some of them are more dishonorable than anything else. But honorable should be attached to people like Dexter Todd, right? And then let me remind the Vice President that Dr. Dexter Todd, the PhD he gets is a real PhD. It is not an honorary degree. It's not something from IFLOC University. It's not something from the University of, the University of Kanji. The man get a real degree, a PhD, real PhD, right? And I noted, I can't help observing these things, that this vice president like attack people with PhDs. So one says it was Vincent Adams. Another says it was Terence Campbell. Another says it was David Hines. All people with PhD, not honorable from some Russian kindergarten 4-H club thing. Real degree. Now Dexter Todd. Call Dexter Todd mediocre. He calls Dexter Todd mediocre. What if you know the meaning of the word mediocre? What if he is? Know the word. And let me move on, right? Now, I say he's a real PhD. If that is considered mediocre, what happened to all them incompetent, unqualified, and corrupt people that you surround yourself with? What happened to them, right? Then the thing here, I said, as Mr. Conway said, if you're talking about mediocre and corrupt, and well, you answer corrupt, can't say what you did not see. But if you're talking about mediocre, what happened to your commissioner? I in research to see what is lower than mediocre. If Todd is mediocre, oh my Lord, how do you describe Clifton Ikin? How do you describe Clifton Ikin? A man who suffers from laryngitis now, can't talk, cannot speak, cannot face the music. And y'all get it as commissioner. You put it there. And let me address this point before bringing CC and go on. Let me address this point. Because I saw that thing from Germany, from the Volkswagen company, wrote something about Mandel. Again, I know a little brief for Mandel. Mandel incompetent, but how Mandel get there? How Mandel, first of all, became an assistant commissioner. Accelerated, Because I think when they had the promotion in 2022, the last promotion was promoted from superintendent to senior superintendent. And this promotion now is promoted from senior superintendent to assistant commissioner. So he didn't promote himself. So he attacking Mandel because he referenced the fact that the man died in the lockup at somewhere there over the river about a month ago, and they were silent about it. Man beaten on the road, police car in the lockup, the man dead in the lockup, under Mandel's watch, right? But how did Mandel get there? Who put him as divisional commander? Mandel didn't pick himself up one morning and decide, I am divisional commander of Region 3. He was placed there. So those who promoted him and those who placed him there are responsible, are equally responsible. Because I have said repeatedly, I know Mandel. Mandel is a nice guy. A nice guy, quiet, going, nice guy. What I know of him, nice guy. But the man didn't get training in policing. The only thing qualified him for the promotion that he get there, maybe is his ethnicity. Mandel had no policing work, so you have put it there. And when he shit big, you're blaming everybody and you're thinking there. Because I maintain, at someone with proper policing knowledge and experience being there the night of the 23rd of April, when that child went missing, the outcome might have been different. And I maintain that if Mandel had not falsely claimed that this child went into a car and left, the outcome might have been different. So you're attacking Mandel, but how did Mandel get there? How did he get there? I'm sure he can produce letters to show that the promotion letter, the service commission promoted, he might even go so far if you investigate to see that they recommended him highly to be promoted. And they even gave him a letter to post him there. So I wanted to say that part about attacking. Attacking people, it is nice when you're attacking, but look to see how the person got where they got. He didn't put himself there. And I say, oh, look, briefly, because I don't know that he had no policing. He should have never been there in the first place. He should have never been an assistant commissioner in the first place. Based on knowledge. Based on knowledge and policing. And let me say this before I go back to the third issue. He is not alone. He is not alone in terms of people who have no policing and people who can handle situations. And again, I say You can't blame them fully. You have to blame the system, a system in which a man comes up all the way to assistant commissioner and then knows squat about policing. How you blaming me? You have to blame the system as we have been doing all the time. No proper training, no proper preparation. Look at the divisional commanders that you have now. The older police that we have will understand what I'm saying. Some of them never, the majority of them never run a subdivision. Forget about station, because yeah, you might come up, you're bright, you turn officer quick, you might not be able, I never run a police station, right? But you got to get subdivisional experience and so on. You got to go through certain courses, prosecutors course, junior officers course, senior officers course, overseas command and all of these courses. Prepare you for senior command in the police force. But no, they ain't doing that. They just pitchfork them there when the shit big. You want to blame everybody. Now let me say this. As was observed by Mr. Conway. They had a meeting with the lawyers and the commissioner of police. You had the two deputy and the man in charge of OPR. That overburdened office. Because everything always OPR. I want to ask, what was OPR doing there? What was the man from OPR doing at the meeting? You got Deputy Commissioner Budram, who's the admin man. Deputy Commissioner McBean. Well, I know his McBean position now because he seems to be floating. Linden, McBean, West Demerara is McBean. In the meanwhile, the commissioner snooping and pudooping, maybe shooting and scooting. You haven't seen them. McBean. But where is the deputy commissioner in charge of crime? Wendell Blanham. And in his absence, where is the representative from the CID? As far as I'm aware, after Blanham at the CID is Mitchell Caesar. So this is a serious, serious matter being investigated. Where is the crime chief? Where is a representative? If for some reason, if for some valid reason, he can be there, where is his representative? You see, you got to analyze these things, you know. Is it that he didn't agree they should meet? Is it that they're afraid that if he had met them, he would have been more open with the lawyers? Tell us. We're asking these questions to provoke, to get answers, to get provoked response. How can you have a meeting like that and the crime chief is absent? The deputy or the most senior, I don't know, designated deputy or somebody appointed deputy, but the next senior man in the CID is not there. And no representative from the CID is there. What kind of meeting is that, man? What kind of meeting? Am I to understand that there's dissent among the forces there? Someone telling me I'm coming to the meeting because if I come, I can talk things that you don't want me to talk. You got to ask these questions. So where was he? Where was he? Then let me say this. As I said, you got a meeting. No question was answered at the meeting. And then, I mean, it's ridiculous to hear that the people say you got to put it in writing. You got to put it in writing. The questions got to be put in writing. The only reason that you can want it put in writing is because you got to go to somebody else to provide the answers. Because one would have thought this is not an impromptu meeting where the people turn up on you and maybe you can get brief. One would have thought that in a matter like this, the commissioner will be kept up to date with all that is going on, because there should have been a requirement for you to update the minister and the people right up the chain. So he ought to be on the ball. He ought to be on the ball. So when people come and ask the question, like, who the lead investigator? You don't know? The president said that he has asked the commissioner to put together a high-level team. What's the effect? That is what the president said. So wait, this team was not put together? If the team was put together, who put together the team? The commissioner know the composition of that team? President says so. He asked to put together this high-level team. And yesterday meeting, 2 weeks after this child died, the commissioner can't tell the lawyers who is the head of this team. They were asked him about samples taken from the pool. He couldn't answer. But yet still when they issued a statement some hours after, they said samples sent to the USA. What is he can doing there as commissioner having regards to all these egregious acts? What is he doing there? What is he doing there? Then they gave a statement. Let me try to find it. Let me bring it, Mr. Conway. To make some comments. I'm gonna find a part that I want to discuss. Perhaps that might have escaped a lot of people, but I want to discuss this part. See, you're over to you, my brother.
Yeah, the second vice president talking about third, mediocre. See, perhaps he talking about his cabinet. Can you got people with two CXC subjects on their minister? People get honorary degree. Todd went to university. He did his master's and he did his PhD. He gained all across Africa and dealing with forensic science. And then you want to downgrade him. You want to bring him to his level. And I always remember George Jackman, I always call his name DPP. He said when you are incompetent and you try your incompetent best, you're still incompetent. Here's it, the conform squatter. All right, say give and take, he planned this meeting with his people. Let's say he's not informed, but bring the man who spared in the investigation. Bring him. Or is that man reporting to the minister and others are not reporting to the commissioner, to the extended squatter? Perhaps this what man? Therefore, and then you're telling people, hey, that they gotta put things in writing. What nonsense is that? And perhaps he's afraid of the combination, he and Blanum, Remember it was the disaster when they hold a press conference to debunk the sergeant story in relation to the paper shots matter. So maybe he's still feeling the effect. So he and Blanum is not a good combination. It's disaster. But jump high, jump low. The extended squatter is right now the head of the police force. And he must be he must know what's going on. And he must be able to speak. But not only speak, he must speak the truth. Not the lies and the cover up of the thing in it. How the public is going to get confidence in you when you're lying? And then you want to polish out that it's a mistake. That's a mistake. And that mistake is lie. Yeah? You said I see the girl. The little girl left the place in a vehicle and seen two other places. And then the civilian, you say that the civilian says a wrong date she punched in. So you're telling me that on some previous date, the little angel had left there, went there and left there in a vehicle. And then you're saying that you dismiss two persons. I wonder how you dismiss them. What offense they committed? And if people commit offense, you got to get due process. Either you charge them criminally or departmentally. And based on what come out of the evidence, then you could dismiss, but you can't just dismiss just like that. And what happened with the civilian? What was the terms of reference of the civilian? So much of inconsistency, so much of irregularity, so much of lies, so much of fabrication that you don't have public confidence in the police. The little that you had has gone. Has gone. Are you telling me the commissioner who is leading the investigation, the commissioner, the scope of the investigation, the commissioner whether it's a homicide they're dealing with, the commissioner whether samples gone about the place, the commission see about the post-mortem report? Nonsense. Lies, and still more lies.
Nonsense-ness. Nyland Wells, nonsense-ness. Well, let me say this. Yesterday we get a chance to go into it today, but at the interview with Mark Phillips, the Prime Minister, Namauda's life, he talked about misinformation. The government agreed that there was misinformation by the police. You know what the North tell you? One of the people on the panel said there's not misinformation, there's downright deceitfulness. I made a note of it. Deceitfulness. And then she a little decent. This guy said, you're lying. I am saying that you're lying. And let me say, in the release that they gave, they said that the examination that was done, the preliminary examination, the autopsy report, shows that there were no sexual assault. And I'm paraphrasing here. The hymen was intact and all the way they say. But I am going to ask, you see, when you're investigating, as a proper investigator, properly trained person investigating. So while I never used to investigate murders and all to me in the police force, I was a commander. I had good training. So when files came to me, I knew what to look for and what question to ask and to write and say clarify. So I mean intact. Did they check to see if there was anal sex? Did they check to see, did they ask to see if it was, if they had any oral sex? Because sex is not only vaginal sex. So when you talk about the hymen being intact and so on, right, they might not have been a vaginal sex. But what happened to anal sex and oral sex? Did they check those things? And I maintain a puzzling thing to me up to now. If you're claiming no sexual assault and all this everything, why have you taken samples to get DNA examination? Why? It must explain all of that. That is still baffling to me. And normally DNA, you want to identify, you might find bones or so on. You want to identify. So DNA sample. In this case, there's no question of identifying who this deceased person was. But you take samples from shit. That is why they report. Then you take sample from the owner of the hotel. So what is it you are investigating that requires a DNA sample from the owner? Let me understand, man. Tell me, and you know, Mark Phillips too, they talk a lot about transparency and so on. I maintain they don't know the meaning of the word transparency. They bandy it about, they don't know the meaning of the word transparency because all of these things are things that they should have already come out to say. You can release those things to the public without compromising the investigation. You release what can be released without compromising. But they decide they're holding everything. And so that is why people say they're lying. You can't. So even when you come out now and say something, nobody believes what you are saying because your credibility is shot. You have no credibility. And you know, again, sometimes I'm sorry about the nature of this program because I would want to, under normal circumstances, when I said no credibility, I would have inserted the adjective between no and credibility. I would have done so in another setting, in another forum. But can't do that. If you got decent people here, can't do that. Can't do that. So they need to tell us all of this. And let me say this. I am emphasizing that I am in disagreement with this lone man with a pickup from somewhere, Canada, and bring it. I don't know his credentials and all that, but I am saying that you need the support of an agency, not an individual, a retired individual, an agency you need the support of an agency. All right, they're bringing me. You're going to stop them from bringing me, you know. I would hope that all the people around insist that this man who they bring as an investigator, if he's so qualified, as they say, interface with the media. Ask conference, press conference at the beginning, so he can tell you what his terms of reference are. And at something he should be able to update you. But then the next thing, you know, they're going to give you some terms of reference. He signs some contract which precludes him, prevent him from interacting with the media. They aren't easy, you know. They aren't easy. They are not easy. So they're going to give this man some contract, and they're going in the contract going to say, you can't talk to the media. Watch and see. You can come, you're going to interact with the media. Well, now that they talk, they might think, but that is what we want the media people to hang down. You must see in terms of reference. He should be able to interface with the media. And if he is what they claim that he was and so on, he would know from his training, his experience, that he needs to interact at frequent intervals with the media. But then they might just tie you down with a flipping contract there, the money dazzly, and decide they ain't talking to nobody. Folks, I will bring Mr. Conway for his closing, and then we're going to have to look forward. CC, your closing remarks, my brother.
I agree with you, that it shouldn't be no private person. Agency. Agency. You have an agency to deal with it. And then let us know some more about this man. You bring it on and a low level. We thought you'd bring a top ranking man, a man who was a deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner or somewhere on the line. Not according to what I hear, a sergeant. No, 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 no. And if he was that good, how he wasn't top ranking? How he can get more thing on his shoulder? Something is wrong somewhere. And then the bottom line is, Paul, that we are investigating the death of a human being. We can rule out accident so far on what we got available. We can rule out suicide so far. We can rule out natural causes so far. But definitely homicide come into play. Definitely undetermined come into play. And a little girl, 11-year-old died. And I always saying, and I always so impressed on my death investigators, that when you're dealing with the death of the human being, this must be your theme, your theme, as Bromwell would say, a theme. No greater honor will ever be bestowed on an officer or a more profound duty imposed on him than when he's instructed when he's entrusted with the investigation of the death of a human being. It is his duty to find the facts, regardless of color or creed, without prejudice, and let no power nor deter him from presenting these facts to the court without regards to personality. That must be embedded in all the investigators. If you investigate the death, whether it's accident, whether it's suicide, whether it's homicide, whether it's natural, whether it's undetermined, that must be done. My financial statement, still the investigation with a massive fraud in Region 1. Apparently, it is at a standstill, the investigation. The audit section marking time. And in the meanwhile, I understand that the person who discovered it initially has been removed, transferred, and the person who committed it is presently, one of the persons is presently on training at the police finance office, perhaps to commit more fraud. You have the commander Region 1, you have the finance officer, you have the conform squatter, that trio from face surface, that trio are complicit, and they need to have proper, intensive, meticulous investigation. It talks about millions and millions of dollars. Region 1 and the other regions too, Region 6 too, where people sign bogus accounts, where they rush to Aquaria police station, they hire boat, although they get boat, and charge big money. Get people sign bogus accounts, rush to Port Kaikumo, people sign big accounts. Matthews Ridge. And recently I saw about, I think, 20-something other fraud checks. 20-something. I saw them. And I'm going to disclose them before long. And they're not doing anything about it. And I'm appealing to my Amerindian police. Those who want to pay $9,000 to purchase shoe that they have to use to perform police duties. When the police are supposed to buy shoe for them, they have to purchase shoe for $9,000 from a police corporal at their quarters who is doing the billings of a very senior officer. They have not been given back their money. they get transferred, they come back to Region 9, and they have not been refunded. And there are many, many more serious financial irregularities. I'm going to discuss some more maybe in the next episode. And the police finance officer is still there. He's still there. The commissioner, the extended squatter is still there. And I don't know what the man responsible for the finance office will see the finance. I don't know what Bodram doing. Him there easy in the corner, waiting for town commissioner. Maybe when the town commissioner launch investigation. The thing, too many financial irregularities involving millions and millions and millions of dollars. And the audit department, the audit section that they get at headquarters, they're marking time. They start, and people say, and they get scared, and they don't tools. That's all I want to say for the way.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. You know, I can't deny y'all therapy. So here we go. What do you want today? Look at it.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujirong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims.
Yes, relationship, your relationship. Your relationship. You never heard that word before. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujirong? Who? So, relationship? Yeah, relationship. What? Simple, straightforward question. Now, let me say this. Let me apologize to students. A student upbraided me. You know, that's how this Open University goes, you know. On one of the previous programs, I referred to young Adriana Young, the little girl who died, as a young lady. I wanted to show and said, no, she's not a young lady. She's a little girl. And therefore, I must apologize to referring to her as a young lady. She's indeed a little girl that they kill. I am saying that they kill. I am saying that. So they can come for me with that too. Right? So my apologies. Now, again, I want to take this opportunity to wish all the mothers Happy Mother's Day on Sunday. The fathers who perform the role of mother. And here, let me clarify that. When we talk about father performing the role of a mother, I'm talking about the fathers who have children and who look after the children as the mother would. Even though some people say a father can never look after a child as the mother would. But you have those fathers. Take good care of their children. We're referring to them. We aren't talking about them so-called mother. We aren't talking about Mother Obord and Mother Germany. We're not talking about them. Right? Mother Barney and Mother whatever. We aren't talking about them. I'm talking about fathers. Because there are lots of fathers who take care of their children as the mother would. Comb the hair of their girls. Bathe them, see they go to school. And we have those people. So all the best on Mother's Day. Greetings to all the mothers. Right? It's good to have a mother. I lost mine many, many years ago. Right? Many, many years ago. And I could tell you, I cried like a baby when it happened. Right? So, folks, you have this day to look after. And let me say, in terms of going forward, first of all, let me tell you, I put up the note on the Cash App and the Zelle. A lot of people have called me to say that they want to make a contribution, but they don't know these things. They are not this technically competent, right? So we understand that. But those of you who have the resources, the wherewithal, forget the program with Tap Up. It's a lot of work with us there, though. A lot of research. As I told you all in the last day, some people have commented that they see the lights look better. Yeah, invested in some new lights and so on. And we're going to continue to make sure that we do the work to bring the information to your attention. I got to applaud you with your attendance here this afternoon. Magnificent Friday afternoon. Magnificent school. Yeah, the school full up, classroom full up with the students. We will continue to come and bring you the information. As I've said, in this election season, which is likely to start soon, for some it started already, we need to dissect some of these things that are being said so that we can read between the lines and we can bring it to you. right? We can read between the lines and we can bring it to you. In terms of going forward, well, let me say we have a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about this afternoon. You know, Mark Phillips gave an interview yesterday. If you hear nonsense with this man talk, or as some people say, if you hear nonsense in this, man lying through his teeth. Lying through his teeth, the man say police is being some COI. Man say they agree for a commission of inquiry into all that happening. That's what Mark Phillips said. I hear the president said that, I hear Jagdeo said that. Mark Phillips said so yesterday. I got the tape out to listen back this morning to make sure that I was hearing correctly. That's what Mark Phillips said. But you can't be surprised. Mark Phillips lying affidavit. Swear and lie in a legal document. So he can lie all the time. So they throw you out there yesterday, and the people bombarded you with some questions, and he told a lot of lies. I have them listed there. I ain't getting a chance to go through it today. But God's Prayer Life, we got to come again, and we're planning to come again on Monday at 11 o'clock on Monday. So telling y'all, Monday at 11 o'clock, we're going to plan to come. Once God said we can be here, we are going to be here to bring you more credible, valuable information. As I always do, I ask you to stay safe. Stay safe. I read a story this morning about a child on the quarantine that died from dengue. A child, dengue fever, went to the hospital, Panadol. That's what they are alleging. Give him Panadol. Child go back, get worse, went back to the hospital, no proper care, no proper treatment. By the time they decided to transfer the child to New Amsterdam and so on, child was far gone. Child died. Some 6-year-old child. It grieves you when them things happen. Grieves you. And they're talking about fastest growing economy and they're talking all sort of things. Them is just statistics. Just stats. And one of the things I want to do to you, to remind you to, every Thursday on CAMS TV, you have former Minister of Finance, Winston Jordan. You shouldn't miss it. I don't. Get nuggets, real wisdom in the way he dissect these things. All them lie where he just let us tell. Yesterday was no different. So I will encourage you to listen to Brother Winston Jordan as well. So folks, until we meet again, God willing, take care. Roads are dangerous. The road, dengue about. All kind of thing happening. See some other man get murdered yesterday or something that I ain't get a chance to read it out. All kind of things happening, and you need to make sure that you're safe. Again, those who want to contribute, please feel free to do so. And until we meet again, take care. Bye.